Hello, YTPC. This is Ethan, Parsimonious Piper here. It is Cobb Tuesday. Got my Cobb Tuesday cob. Got my Cobb Tuesday cap. Feeling a little bokeh-ish today, so what do you think, Charlie? Like that? In my cob, I have got some of Gatlin Burlier's Gatlin Burley. This is a nice American English crossover, Burley based with some Latakia, not a ton. Mildly smoky. They've got some top note on it that is just very slightly sweet. But I get a little bit of a spice of some kind. Not necessarily directly cinnamon, but that kind of hard to pinpoint it exactly. It's not a cinnamon candy type sweet or spicy cinnamon. There's just a spice to it with the sweetness. It's good. Very good. So today we're going to take a look at a tour at the tour of the Sutliff factory in Richmond. Was at the pipe show this last weekend, as you've probably seen by now with a lot of the guys with their videos, and it was just a blast. Flat Cap and Lady Fire probably did the most thorough video. I think theirs was a couple hours long. They really covered the vendors. Spent some time with us jokers too. But those guys have done a pretty good job of covering some of the social side of things, so I figured let's take a little closer look at the tour inside the factory. And that's what I've got for you here. Let's get started. This was the outside of the tent where the vendors were. You can see they had a total of 3 tents this size set up. And the one all the way in the back was where they had all the tables that you probably saw us lounging around. Swap meet on Friday was fun. Lots of very interesting, a lot of estate pipes. Tons of stuff for me to sift through. And yeah, I did manage to pick up a couple of old beater pipe by lease to clean up. We had a blending seminar. Mark Ryan of Daughters and Ryan fame was there with some of his 2003 Decade Series Perique, and Russ Willett of Pipes and Cigars Hearth and Home had us or walked us through some more of it and talked about how it affects blending and that sort of thing. And then we got to go put together a blend of our own. I did somewhat of an imitation of Russ Willett's Firestorm, which has the Virginia, the Perique, Dark Fired Kentucky. I just left out the Virginia, except as a little bit of condiment with stowed Virginia. I'm not sure what Flat Cap was putting here in his. Now onto the tour. Right after they got us going on the tour, they took us to the side into this large refrigerated room filled with these big metal boxes. These containers have all kinds of blends, straight tobacco components, and the smell when you walked into here was just unbelievable. You just wanted to dive into these containers. It smelled so good. Some of the containers obviously had been gotten into, but the full ones, oh my goodness, you just wanted to run your fingers through all of that. It looked so delicious, and the smell was just something else. Container after container of just lovely, ready to go or ready to blend tobacco. Back out in one of the main warehouse spaces, stacks, shelves of empty containers waiting to be filled with your favorite leaf. Now, if some of you were wondering, is plum pudding barrel aged really barrel aged? Well, yes. As a matter of fact, it is. It looks like there's 200 pounds in each of these barrels. You can see 4 up front. I didn't check the labels on the other 4 that you can see there to see whether those were all plum pudding or whether, you know, some of it was Mississippi River Special Reserve, whatever. But yeah, a couple 100 pounds in each of those barrels. That's quite a bit of plum pudding. Then we got to see where they were doing a little more processing. This is a big box of one of my absolute favorite components, Dark Fired Kentucky. And this was in a room that had a couple of big steamers. They didn't have any in operation or being loaded or unloaded, so no really interesting pictures of those to be had. But that Dark Fired Kentucky leaf, boy, and it smelled just as good in here, right next to the Perique. Then they took us into large room where they had a lot of equipment, but the dryer was the one that they were operating to begin with. Ironically, yes, you can see as they are loading this black leaf, which is Latakia, they're actually steaming it to rehydrate it and make it slightly pliable back at the beginning of the process as it's loading into these conveyor belts that feed the dryer. You can see it goes up and then hits this conveyor belt at an angle. I am not entirely sure what he was sifting for, whether he was pulling stems or what exactly he was doing. It was really too loud to have too much of a conversation with those guys. But the backside of that machine that was being fed there is this chopper, and that thing was going up and down like a sewing machine. Love to get some fingers caught in that, huh? Nasty, nasty. Well, that fed over at the other end of that little belt to this gadget that was separating the leaf again after it was chopped. Then it fed it into this long tumble dryer. And out the other end as container after container of just lovely Latakia. I tell you, when you walked right into that room, it smelled like you had just been buried under a ton of pirate cake. It smelled so good. They moved us from there into the packaging, final process and packaging room. Unfortunately, my picture of the press in operation or at least holding a brick here, it didn't come out well. So all I can show you is the finished product and tell you that each one of these super plugs, I forget, they're 20 or 30 pounds and a couple inches thick and something like it's either 1 by 2 feet or 18 by 30 or something like that. They're big bricks, like a sheet cookie, only thicker and much heavier and denser. I got an end plug scrap cut off of one of these, and it's a straight steam pressed blackened Virginia, and it just smells delicious. And here we have the back end with all of the stacked, some wrapped, boxed tins of final product ready to be shipped. Just stacks and stacks of everything. There was one entire shelf unit that had nothing but HH Old Dark Fired in Bold Kentucky, and that looked good. Exiting through their lobby, they have a display of many of their brands: the Mac Barons, the Three Nuns, the Seattle Pipe Clubs, John Cotton's. And of course, ending with my favorite series, the HH line. These are just all good blends. Fantastic stuff. And that, folks, that was the Richmond show, or at least the tour. The next day, on Saturday, they had the professional vendors in, the paid vendors. That was a lot of fun as well. And yes, I managed to pick up a few goodies, which I'll talk about tomorrow. If you have not made one of these shows, you should. Make an effort to get to one if there's one anywhere within a reasonable distance to you. And hook up with some YTPC friends. I got to tell you, You can buy pipes online. You can buy tobacco online. But you can't smoke with your friends online. Not the same way. It was a lot of fun. Some of the guys, a few of the guys anyway, I had met before, but so many I had not. And we just sat down and chatted like we knew each other. Well, because in many ways we do. So this community is just, it's so much fun. So until I get to meet you at one of these fun shows, light something you like. Maybe try a little Burley English crossover and enjoy your afternoon.